everybody. This is Dave, NEO Music Scene. I am got the one and only Rich Kosak here with me today. Rich, you are with Mr. Speed. I got to ask you first thing off the gate here, before we even talk about the upcoming show. How long have you and the guys been performing as Mr. Speed?
Well, that's kind of a tricky question because me and the guys seem to come and go. But me, I've been doing this. It'll be 29 years on June 24th.
That is amazing. That was one of the questions I had for you, is if the members have changed, because with wearing the makeup, right? I mean, as long as they got the body build and they got the talent.
Well, I've run the gamut over those 29 years of having not so quite the body build and the body build itself. So yeah, you tend to work with what you have, because there isn't a KISS store on the corner that I can go to and I can get a replacement member.
You just can't go to the you can't go to the demon aisle and just pick up a
no. I can go to the demon aisle, but it's not going to be for a KISS band. It's going to be for just general life, But yeah, of course.
So let's get into this here. Coming up this Saturday, February 11th, 8 p.m., you guys are going to be at the Goodyear Theater in Akron, which I know you guys have played before. That's one of my favorite theaters. Would you agree with that statement? Is that a great place to put on a show for the band?
It is a wonderful place to put on a show. They're super accommodating down there. They kind of handcuff us with a lot of the effects. And the reason being is because there's an apartment complex that's adjacent to the theater, which we didn't know about when we booked our initial show there a year ago. So they really don't want us doing anything as far as some of the gimmicks, like there's no fire breathing or cold sparks happening, because, there's people that live in an apartment complex that's connected to the theater itself. And a lot of people don't know that. They come in to buy tickets, but I'm telling them now, if in fact they're thinking of going to the show. But this is our second time there in as many years, and very accommodating, good dressing rooms, big stage, nice hospitality. The crew on hand is very accommodating, very helpful. And of course, yeah, you have a beautiful theater to look out into and see the faces of the fans. So we love playing this place.
So just not going to have the full pyro show, huh?
Right. We're going to have to let the music do the talking, as they say.
As they say. And speaking of that, let's get into the music. Now, much like yourself, I've been a KISS fan since I was a teenager. My first concert was, I believe, 76 or 77, the Destroyer Tour, when KISS played the Richfield Coliseum. And it changed my life forever. I mean, it really, truly did. Not so much that I formed a tribute band, mind you. But
it doesn't happen to everybody.
But I have to say, I've never had the privilege of seeing Mr. Speed live, but I've been doing my research for our conversation. I was looking at a lot of the clips you have up on YouTube and the like, and you guys are phenomenal. Other than hearing KISS play Black Diamond, you guys are like note perfect. I mean, you really are. It's amazing. How does one get to be that good?
It may sound a little cheesy. I can play one kind of music really, really well, and that's KISS music. But if I went to join a Metallica band or a Rush band or any other band, if you will, I probably would not get the gig, simply because I believe I was put on this planet to play KISS music. I think that my musical journey has been to be in a KISS tribute band and to share my love of KISS with fellow fans. I've spent a lot of time when I was younger. I just turned 59 years old on Sunday. So when I was much younger, and I started Mr. Speed when I was 33, I spent a lot of time watching videotapes, and I just sit there and watch them late at night and just watch them over and over again. Back in those days, there wasn't as much available as there is today. You can go onto YouTube, as you said, and see anything by anybody. You can probably even see your favorite artist eating food if you wanted to, with the way the society is today. But back in the mid 90s, we didn't have very much. We certainly didn't have the internet. We certainly didn't have YouTube. So we were finding things at record shows. You know, you'd find a bootleg concert here, or maybe a friend had another show that you would get a 10th generation copy from, and you'd sit there and watch it, and you'd try and do your best. But I will give you a secret. Not everybody's born to be able to be somebody that's a professional musician, because we're not them. But if you surround yourself with people that feel the same way that you do, they can pull things out of you that maybe you didn't think existed. And I've been lucky to have some people around me that have done that.
Well, it's great. I mean, even down to, it's not like you're mimicking them per se. You're not mimicking Kiss. I mean, you truly are playing tribute to them, but in such a fashion that, I mean, there are times when I'm watching you perform and I would swear I'm watching Kiss. You know,
Well,
I mean,
isn't that the idea?
exactly.
You
That's
know?
what I mean. I mean that the illusion becomes reality there for a while, and it's phenomenal. It really truly is. So kudos to you and the band.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. All of us really, truly appreciate that. It's a lot harder than people think that it is. And I had a friend send me a clip 2 nights ago of a guy in Canada that was filming his rehearsal in a basement. He had his bodysuit on, he had his boots on, and he was jumping around like a monkey. And here, all of a sudden, the entire platform and heel on his one boot sheared right off.
Oh
And he
no!
fell flat on his face. You know, now a lot of things could have really gone wrong there. But I'm just going to go back to people that think that they know what they're doing when they put on these imitation costumes and put on platform boots, and they're going to be Kiss, like when Kiss was 27, 28, 29 years old.
Yeah,
You got another thing coming. You got
yeah.
another thing coming.
It's a workout, right?
Oh, well, and it's exceptionally dangerous. That's why we never let anybody on our stage. You know, we're not a party band. We don't like when people jump up there. And if you try to jump up, we're probably going to have security pull you off pretty quickly.
Yeah. You gotta be safe. Absolutely. So, how many shows a year does Mr. Speed perform? Does it vary year from year? I mean, do you run like a tour cycle per se, or?
You know, we try to, Dave. There's ebbs and flows to everything about our business. And, you know, 10, 12 years ago, we were playing 35 times a year. And then, you know, you'd get down to 20. And then you go back up maybe 22. And then you go back down to 18. You know, and then when the pandemic hit, you know, we lost an entire year like everybody else did in their lives. Yeah. And so we're extremely grateful to be in a position now where we've got a new agency out of New York. The Sharon Klein agency is now working with us. And, you know, she's gotten us more work in 8 weeks than we've had with some agents that we've known for 20 years.
Wow, so that's amazing.
Our future looks exceptionally bright right now. And, you know, we've got a brand new band member in the band who's going to play his very first show with us this coming Saturday night at the Goodyear Theater too.
Really? Well, that's amazing. So, so which instrument? Where's he debuting?
Well, it's on drums. It's on drums. We were very transparent that last year Quentin, who was with us for 5 years, was leaving at the end of the year. He had told us in January of 2022 that he was going to pursue other ventures, and he wanted to go. So he gave us a year's notice.
You can't beat that.
So he told us that in January, and in March I had his replacement. And the guy is very, very well known here in Northeast Ohio. I'll tell you his name. His name is Rich Hattery. And Rich was one of the original members of a Metallica band called the Four Horsemen.
Oh, yes.
Many people may know of the Four Horsemen. Well, it's my understanding. I've never seen that band, but Rich was with the Four Horsemen for 14 years. And he's also played with a number of area bands too. I've spoken to some real good friends of mine who know him that asked me who our new drummer was. Way while we were keeping it a secret, because we just revealed him today on social media to the world.
Talk about timing, huh?
Yes. So this interview couldn't have happened at a better time. And we had that planned. It was a planned assault on our fan base and for the Kiss fans around the world, to let them know that we've got a new drummer and he's portraying Eric Carr, the Fox. And we're very excited about turning over another page in our story and starting a new chapter of the band.
So no more Catman in Mr. Speed, at least.
No, we kicked the cat out and we went and caught ourselves a fox. So 28 and a half years of paying tribute to Peter Criss. We think we've served him well, and the reception that we've gotten on social media today, from what I've been able to keep an eye on, has been overwhelming. That the fans are excited that we're going to now pay tribute to Eric. And I'll let you in on this too. I've become somewhat friendly with his sister Loretta, and Loretta is very supportive of the fact that we're going to be paying tribute to her brother.
Oh, that's amazing! I think that's great. Now, does that change your set list up at all, or are you still going to play the? Because what Mr. Speed was playing Kiss songs from what era? I mean, how far up were you going?
Well, we used to go from the first album all the way through Sonic Boom and Monster.
Okay.
But then a number of years back, let's say about 7-8 years back, we decided to go a little bit more specific. And especially over the past 3 years, we went pretty much 79, 80. And we're still in that same realm, because when you have a member change in your band, it's not very fair to expect the new guy to come in and know 40 songs that we can just inject. And you should know music well enough. Most professional bands, they find a set list that works, they get a formula, and they stick with it. Yeah. You'd be surprised how unabashed our fans are through email and the things that they say and request of us. It's sometimes very frustrating and sometimes very entertaining at the same time.
Manages to do both, huh? So for like a show, with a show coming up on Saturday, you have a set list already in place. I mean, you know exactly what you'll be doing, or can it be fluid at all?
I'm not saying that we won't jump out of the water here or there, but for Saturday, for being at our first show this year and first show with a new band member, we're probably going to stay pretty close to the hip and stay on script with this one.
So how does he feel about having to put on the makeup? I mean, he hasn't had to do. I'm assuming this is a first time for him, right? Having to go through that whole makeup process.
He's only done it 3 times, and the last time was just a week ago when we did a photo video shoot at the Lorraine Palace Theater out in Lorraine. And I'll be honest with you, Dave, I've got photographic evidence of his first time, his second time, and his third time, and this guy does the makeup better than most guys that are in Kiss tribute bands for 10 years.
Oh, that's great.
But there's a whole army of people behind the scenes that bring the whole look together. And we could talk about this for hours about what goes into creating the look of somebody, just one member in a band, let alone 4 guys. And I'm not here to, throw gasoline on the fire, but Mr. Speed does things for what works for us and for the members within it. And we surround ourselves with a culture that is very positive and very, I'll say the word warm, for lack of a better term right now, because we all get along and we all like being around one another, and we're all around the same age. And that's super important, to, as you well know, if you've been in any kind of relationship, it's hard enough just being in a relationship with one other person, but doing it with 3 other people and their significant others or whoever, it's a challenge. So it is very beneficial when the culture within the band is a positive one, and everybody's not, grumbling and, back talking one another, which
exactly.
we have. Yeah,
that's great. That's great. Well, I think I before we came on here, I was like nosing around at the Goodyear Theater site, and I tell you what, you've got a crowd coming on Saturday night. You're going to be rocking.
We did the same thing. We looked at it upstairs about 45 minutes ago, and I'm thrilled because I know this for a fact. We've already outsold our ticket sales from last year's show, so the buyer's happy.
Yeah.
So, and as an entertainer, when you put your heart and soul into something, as we do with Mr. Speed, And especially with a new band member, you want him to feel good about what the decision that he made. And you want to feel good about the decision of bringing someone new in that the fans are going to accept and love. He's got some big shoes to fill because Quentin was a great drummer. But I'm here to tell you, I've played with quite a few over my 28 and a half years. Rich, he can hold his own. And
That's great.
he's going to be playing the double bass, kick drums, and there's going to be a new thunder behind me, and I'm super excited about it. I can't wait.
Now, will he be singing at all? Is he going to take over any of the singing duties?
Yeah, we're gonna have him keep it real simple, and he's going to sing Black Diamond during the show, and he's going to add some harmonies, throughout other songs in the show. But for the most part, I've got him back there driving the bus, and that's his main focus. And he's got a really, really amazing drum kit that he's put together. He combined a kit that he bought off of a guy in Sweden. He's got himself a gong with the same apparatus that looks like Eric Carr used to use. And that's super important for us. There's a lot of bands that run around and they call themselves tribute bands. But let's just cut the shit. If you're just getting up there with a green drum kit and some combo amps and you're putting on a Halloween costume, you're not really a tribute band.
It's true. Because I've noticed are you playing the exact same guitar as Paul? Because it sure looks like it.
Oh yeah. I made a major financial investment 2 months ago, and I now own one of the Ibanez PS1 CMs, the crack mirror guitars.
Yeah.
And those things take on average 12 to 14 months to get once you put one on order. And I sold my original Kiss pinball machine, which I bought back in 1992. My return on investment was rather tremendous.
I can imagine. Oh, but I'm like, gosh, I can't believe you let that go. That's amazing.
I did. And
for good reason.
Well, yeah, there were a couple reasons. It was sitting in a storage facility for 15 years because we lived in an apartment building and we really couldn't put the pinball machine in there. They're quite noisy if you've ever played one. So
many times.
Really that didn't work. And then a friend of mine reached out to me because I recently relocated, and he said, "Hey, do you have any interest in selling your pinball machine?" And I hadn't really thought about it. And he goes, "I have someone that's interested, and here's what they want to offer you for it." And I was like, "Come on over." I was stunned.
Yeah,
So I was able to pay it forward, Dave, and I was able to reward myself with something that I've wanted since 1979. And so everybody's happy.
Yeah, well, it's just that attention again. As I was watching you perform on some of these clips, and I was like, I think he has the exact same guitar that Paul Stanley has. I mean, and that is the type of attention to detail you get to with Mr. Speed that I've never seen anywhere else. So I'm assuming it doesn't exist with anyone except Mr. Speed. So
it's not to say that we don't do everything like Kiss, but I think within the limits of our financial means and our dedication and our heart, we strive to be better than all the rest. We think outside the box. We envision bigger things for ourselves. We try to subscribe to a positive way of life, as opposed to always being so downtrodden and woe is me and I can't get a gig and blah blah blah. We do our diligence. We keep our nose clean and we do the hard work. And a lot of these other guys, they just want to take some money from a venue. They want to meet some chicks and they want to play some Kiss songs because that's all it means to them. That it means way more to us.
2 more questions and I'm going to let you go. First question. So other than Kiss, what do you listen to? What is your other go-to music?
Well, I'm a kid of the 70s because I was, like I said earlier, I'm 59 years old. So I grew up with a lot of the 70s rock. There's Journey. There's a band called New England that I'm a huge fan of. I saw them open for Kiss in 1979. I'm friends with those guys, and I'm still a fan 40 some years later. Triumph, Night Ranger, Rush, Heart, Peter
all
Frampton,
all the
Cheap Trick.
classics.
Yes, I mean those are my wheelhouse bands. I'm even a huge Commodores fan, and my very first concert was the Commodores, July 28th, 1978, at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena.
Amazing. We're the same age. I'm 61, so we're from the same generation. That would be my
Yeah,
my go-to list as well. Um,
yeah.
uh, and one other question, and this is kind of a non-Kiss thing, but it is Kiss related. Um, Paul Stanley's Soul Station. What do you think?
I love it.
I do too. I think it is absolutely phenomenal.
I love it, simply because Paul's paying tribute to the music that he says he grew up with. But I also used to spend my childhood years on a wicker rocking chair on the front porch of my house in Pittsburgh, listening to AM and FM radio, rocking for hours. And those songs that are on that album were the songs that were coming out of the radio on the windowsill of my house that I grew up in. And so for me to know that Paul has such an attachment to that music, and he wanted to dedicate an entire album to it, and then for me to be able to hear one of my favorite singers doing all of those songs again, that's a treat. What more could I ask for? I mean, I have it on vinyl, and I would absolutely go see him and see that if I was able to do so.
Yeah, I wish he would tour. I mean, I know he can't right now because of the whole Kiss tour going on, but maybe when that's all said and done, we'll get a chance to do that.
There's got to be one more question. Come on, one more question.
One more question. Actually, let's get back to Mr. Speed. And okay. Again, I want to make sure everybody's aware. Saturday, February 11th, 8 p.m. Goodyear Theater. Seriously, I'm not making this up. There are not a lot of seats left. So if you want to be there, get to the Live Nation site or the Goodyear Theater site and pick up the seats.
Ticketmaster.com.
Is that where they're at? Ticketmaster.com. Get your seat because there ain't many of them left. So what does the rest of 2023 hold for Mr. Speed?
Well, that's a great question too. There's 4 shows that I'm hoping to be able to announce and add to our tour schedule this week alone. We are heading back out to Seattle, actually to the state of Oregon, in August, late July, early August. We're going to be doing a 3-night tour down in the South. We're playing Johnson City, Tennessee, I think Knoxville, Tennessee, and the city in Georgia is escaping me, but 3 different nights in a row. And Mike, our bass player, is super excited about the opening night of those 3 nights because we're playing in Freedom Hall. And if it's the same Freedom Hall that I'm thinking of, I saw Kiss there on the farewell tour, and he saw Metallica there on I think it was the Black tour. And
that is going to be surreal for you to play on the stage.
It's phenomenal. I'm like, holy shit, do we have enough stuff to put up there to look cool? I hope we can look cool because what are we going to do on a stage that big? You know? But there's a lot of offers for our band. Not all of them come through, but there's a lot that are on the stove right now that I really can't talk about. But sure. I think our year's setting up to be super exciting. Keep in mind that at every show that we do a meet and greet after every single show. So if you come to see us, you can come up and meet us afterwards. We sell swag just like any other band does. We just spent the largest amount of money on the biggest merch order we've ever placed in our history just 3 weeks ago. So we're going to have these hoodies. See this hoodie that I'm wearing right here? This is ours. Yeah. You know?
Very nice.
Slogan on the side of the arm that says "Keeping Classic Kiss Alive." That's what we believe in. We've got hats, we've got koozies, we've got skull caps, we've got drum heads, drumsticks, the whole 9 yards. We want it to be an immersive experience for you. We want people to feel like they're at a Kiss show. Even though we're not Kiss, we want the experience to feel like it is. So as Dave was saying earlier, a few tickets left for this Saturday night, 8 o'clock at the Goodyear Theater in downtown Akron. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
It's a great theater. And I'm looking through what you have posted on your website, and I see you are literally going to be in my backyard on Saturday, July 15th at the Nash Family Jackson Amphitheater, which is literally within walking distance to where I'm talking
Well,
to you at now.
then you're going to
So,
need to be there, and we're going to need to take a photo.
yeah, absolutely. We're making that date right now, Rich. It's happening for sure.
Awesome.
Hey,
I understand that's an amazing facility, and the folks there have been super accommodating and negotiating with me to get our band there, and we're super happy to be a part of their summer series.
but that's coming up in a couple of months. We'll talk again before that show to make sure everybody's aware
Great.
of that one. But it's been great speaking with you. I love your band. I love your enthusiasm. I love that you love Kiss as much as I do. So,
absolutely, my friend. Absolutely.
Nothing but the best of luck with your new member this coming Saturday night. And we'll talk again soon, Rich.
Dave, thank you so much for the time. Peace out, everybody. Be good to each other.
Thank you.